So first of all, thank you very much for your time and for your help with this chat. The first question is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? How long, when you started playing the game, how long do you play every week?
Oh, no worries. So I've started maybe a year ago. I'm playing on N8 server, which means I constantly have good ping. I have no ways of saying, oh, I can't play well today because of this, because of that. So the game is playing well all the time. I'm level 60, played 5,000 games at this point, which I think is normal. When you hit 60, is around 5,000 games. But I feel like a good way to sort of explain the level of the person is by asking like the average damage. I guess that's like a good way versus like, now there's so many players. There's level 60, better and stronger, and there's also a little bit of a weaker player. So I feel like the level doesn't say much if needs to be, but you know how you can go on the population one side and look at the average damage. That way you can see how strong or weaker the player is.
So
yeah.
what's your average damage?
I actually haven't checked, but I think it's around 750 at this point.
Oh wow,
740.
much higher than mine.
Yeah. But that's the current season though, not the one that you're looking in the game, because that one only tells you your overall, which means like from the year ago when you started and you couldn't kill anybody in like 30, 40 games, versus now where you get average of 3, 4, 5 kills, and like my winning rate right now is 52%, so I'm winning every second game, versus when you're looking one in the game, you have 30 or 20% of your overall. So I feel like it's really helpful to know about a person by just going to the 1.1 website and see like their current skill or whatnot. Sorry, that was long.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I'll just cut it. I'm kidding.
We're done.
Do you actually check stats for your enemies or for other players?
Just because I recently started playing tournaments and I played a lot of scrimmages, and I'm playing in different teams, and we're also sometimes looking for a new person to add. I have started to looking at other people's stats, so that way I can know like, okay, this person is way stronger than me, or a little bit less, or a little bit weaker. So it's good to know in like if you're playing a tournament, your teammates for sure.
Nice. So you check other people before the tournament?
I check. Well, now when you started playing tournaments, you're getting into. If you go into the new team, yes, it's good to. I personally like to know like what kind of players that I'm playing with, and naturally, when they're adding you, they're checking your stats, because sometimes be like, hey, someone talked about you, they're like your stats. I'm like, what stats? I don't know that you can actually see one. So it is within the tournament. I guess there's a certain amount of people who are looking. I don't know. It's nice to know. It's nice to know if you're getting better. If you're trying to get better at the game, it's good to know if you actually are.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you. What's the recent skill you learned in the game? Maybe some trick or something you're working on right now?
Recent. I mean, I feel like by the time you played 5,000 games, you don't really learn a lot of things, although you try to. I mean, I'm definitely working on something right now. Is the map awareness. It's something that you hear all the time. It's important to know where everybody is, but during the game and the fight and the chat, I'd say you always forget about it anyway, especially when you're playing in tournament. I guess in normal game, in pubs game, it doesn't really matter as much, but I feel like it's almost unlosable knowing when the players are in the game and where the zone is going to be. And that's, I keep trying to work on it. It sounds way easier than it is to just like keep an eye on the map, but it's not really. And when you're flying or you're potting, to keep an eye on the person, because when we drop down, we're looking down. We want to make sure we're like opening our arms in the last moment, make sure we like start grabbing stuff, versus actually like looking around when you're dropping down and trying to keep a point in your head, like where everybody's dropping, and then you're seeing the first little square of the zone going smaller. Okay, this is, and try to strategize your way through the game. But again, it's only, I feel like, if you're playing a little bit more competitively versus like a normal pop game, which is kind of doesn't matter. Again, it's sort of that applies to like the level I'm at the moment, I guess. I wouldn't say like someone just starts the game, yeah, just make sure you look at the map of where people are dropping. You know what I mean? It kind of depends.
Nice. Thank you. When you said map awareness, what aspects of the map awareness do you think are the most important? Like for you, for example, or what's most difficult to track?
The most difficult to track is an immediate decision making as soon as the map shrinks, because you kind of have to keep in, like, that's what also a lot of people don't do when you see the countdown of the zone shrink under your health and shield level. Like, as soon as that happens, you're technically supposed to react immediately to the zone shrinkage and move, instead of like, okay, I still have time, let me like finish looting up the summit or whatever, because there's still a lot of stuff to go. But in reality, you kind of have to like stop doing everything you do and just react into the zone. If you want to go around it or if you want to dart right through, the decision goes from there. Is obviously for you prior, like you've been looking where the other people are, more or less. But that's my biggest, like, immediate reaction on the zone shrinkage and just going there.
Nice. Does it mean that speed is the most important? Because like, as soon as you said that you need to stop immediately and move somewhere, does it mean that speed and the positioning yourself in the right place is there the ultimate winning factor?
I would say so, yeah. But again, I feel like it all depends on what kind of person this implies to. If it replies to implies to someone who's level 20, or versus level 60, or if it's a pub game, or if it's a tourney, or if it's a scrimmage, I feel like it kind of depends. But if you want to be in a perfect world, I feel. I mean, there's if you're a killer and murderer, it doesn't matter what you do, But if you're like, you have to assume that every single person in the map is at least as good as you are or better than you, right? If we in this world that we think that way, then yeah, you want to play perfectly, that, which in my mind is just grab and run into the position to be in the zone, or try to cut off the team, or just be in a position that no one can see you, so you keep your ears open and third party, because technically, I guess, to sum it up, you got to realize, are you playing this game to have cool plays and just like a crazy fight that like gets your heart pumping, or are you playing this game to actually get a win? Or are you trying to get both? It's hard to get like crazy action game if you also want to think that I have to make sure I get the first place. The same as in tournaments, that the people are always who are getting the most amount of damage. In my personal experience and opinion, that the people who are getting crazy fights, not winning a lot of games, mostly like first, second, third place, versus the people who are just being, smart and like being quiet, and maybe like it's a little bit less actiony style of game, but they working the zone and they're like making sure that they're first and they, third party, and you know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out if you want to have cool plays and be like action packed, just YOLO into the fight, drop whatever, or you want to be the first play. You know what I'm trying to say? Makes any sense?
Yeah,
And I feel
absolutely.
like
Yeah, totally.
and if you are trying to win the game, which is not me, my personal gameplay is, I don't care if I win at all. I just care like, I don't care if I lose the fight, but if it was like a cool fight that we like all running around, building around each other, like through the building, out of the building, that's sort of what makes my like heart pump. I'm like, that's why I play this game. You know what I mean? So that's my, and for that way, if I'm playing in public match, I just kind of YOLO into the fight. You know what I mean? But if you are someone who wants to play to win the game, I guess that's what the skill implies, of like looking around the map while you drop, and as soon as it shrinks, just react immediately and position yourself in the best possible spot that you think it is, in order to third party someone, or just be the last team to fight 3v3 for the first place at the end.
Nice, thank you. If you think about yourself, let's say 6 months ago, what advice you would give to that person to pass to you? Maybe 3 things to do, 3 things to avoid.
Okay, so I was trying to get better at the game. So that was my point, right? I was trying to get better at the game. I didn't think of this as like, again, if I'm trying to just go come in and have fun, I don't care what I'm doing, it's just fun, or I like to get better at the game, right? So I was trying to get better at the game, and sorry, I was trying to have fun, and then I didn't. I feel like if you really put your head into like, okay, I have to learn a skill like reloading a DT, and if you really focus on it, you get better so much faster versus just like running through games. But like I didn't know. Like I feel like the biggest bump, which is unironically that I got like way better as a player, is when the peaking skill. Because that, especially that until like level 55, 56, CX4 was my number one weapon because you can just peek to death with that thing. Like no one ever gonna get you. You just keep chipping at people. So as soon as I like in the lobby, even I would be like just like peeking like every time, like waiting. So I feel like if I don't know if it's actually a difficult skill to master for someone that's new. Maybe it is because you have to like reload while you're peeking. But that I feel like that got like 30% boost into my survival skills, which is like I feel like the biggest skills to have, and like obviously aiming and is important, but I feel like someone who survives longer and your team is not feeding you bananas and stuff, you can just survive on your own for long. That was the peaking with the CX4, the biggest thing. That's sort of that comes to mind. And things to avoid is basically if you try what you were going to, if you're trying to get better, like avoid maybe like just playing. Like I mean, if you're like I feel like that's fun about it, trying to get better at certain things. Like start from zero into like just okay, you see the gradation of you like becoming a stronger player. And if you just have a mental note of you to okay, today I'm working on map awareness, today I'm working on that DT reload, or today I'm like there's a thing that, for example, I tried like when I would play with a stronger player, like I wouldn't care about shooting anybody. I was just trying to stay on him, like just on his ass. Like it doesn't matter what, he moves so fast. Like I didn't even grab anything, like whatever I can on the way. But like I was just okay. Let me try to like follow this guy like as much as I can. He can kill everybody. I don't care. I was just like you know what I mean, like merge into his body almost. Like I was trying to like find that way. I'm like okay, so this is how he moves. This is how he builds. This and that. But I don't think there's any thanks to what I don't think there's any mistakes really you can do. I'd like to know the answer to that from other people that you talk to, actually.
A lot of people said flying on the enemy is not the best idea during the fight.
Flank on the enemy?
Yeah, especially like when it's a close fight and you try to fly to kind of to finish them, and they just peek and kill with 5 health.
Right. Oh, I guess yeah. So, well, the coolest thing about this game that we keep learning, I guess, but like number one thing is which is still, it's like always like this balance of like if someone's behind a rock on you into the building and you gave him a lot of damage on this person already, and then when is it good time to fly on him? And I mean, like so many times you would just, or if you're pushing someone so hard and then they're running and then you just fly right on them and all of a sudden they like peek you and just like nail you down like with anything as you're flying towards them because you're so vulnerable when you're up there. Right. So I feel like that was so many times that I told myself like, why did I fly? Like I knew this would happen. But it's the trick that you would always do. Like sometimes you like pull people towards you, like knowing like you just keep running and then you find an open area and then there's a fence in the end. You just know they're gonna fly. You peek, you hear them, just zap them out. Like that, I feel like that's always so hard to judge when is it a good time to fly. But now it's easier for me because now you just build right on them, right? Like, but it's a bit of a harder skill, I guess, to do that I've somewhat recently learned, just like build up right on top of them so they can't do anything, basically. Yeah.
What do you mean by building on top? Like, for example, if you're here and someone is hiding, I don't know.
Okay, so
behind
I actually
rock.
that reminded me the last skill that I learned that is building towards something. Like as simple as like doing the domino. Like it's pretty good. Like you can see from up there. Can I jump down there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like if you stand right here, you'll probably see. But it's basically like if I'm moving this way, right? And someone is standing like on top of like, I'm moving this way. Someone's standing on top
Hold on,
here.
hold on. Give me a second. So hold on. I'll move you to my team so I can see your.
Oh no, never mind. It's all right. I'll make it simple. I'm moving just straight towards the truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So someone's shooting at me. Like it's easy to like move left if someone's shooting. You just go like side, right? It's pretty easy and no one can get you. But if you're going forward, there's like maybe it's obvious for everybody, but it was not to me. So if I make a first build and then I go straight and I make a second right through it, right? Or you making it like a little bit I'm gonna undo it. You're making it a little bit to the left. So it's like, like zigzaggy chessboard. So you go here, and then you go here, and then you go here. So they can never catch you. It's like this zigzaggy thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're like,
Interesting.
chew, 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 chew. Like they can never, never, ever hit you. You know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
because versus just like, oh yeah, something like this, maybe like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? This is like, it's so easy and so clean to do this. Like I'm almost thinking, like on skis when they like go like shoo, 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 between like poles. So this is what I'm trying to build. And when someone's speaking you from like you are like, I can't do it right now, but you're basically building like this, you know what I mean? Like just building on top of the person, and then DT right down on them. It's a little bit difficult because if you hit it twice, it's going to disappear in here. But that was like building towards someone in the open area with this zigzaggy thing is like like I just learned it recently myself. I'm like, why did I never do that?
Nice.
But
Thank you very
yeah.
much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, man. Are we done?
Okay. Yeah. Last question. Let me think. What
Do you
you
like my
said.
car?
Oh, this is beautiful. So clean.
Yeah, thank you. And
Look at
don't
this.
touch it. I just
Oh, yeah,
washed
sorry,
it.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I
That's
just
okay.
scratched it. So, like, look at this.
You know what? Don't
Oh, that's
tell me
fine. That's fine.
that.
It's okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me think. What you said about peaking. So, if you're on the peaking side, and you said that you've been doing this for a pretty long time, do you have any like what was there things you try to do or not to do? Like, for example, for me, when I peak, I keep reminding myself that I need to move from one place to another one, because if you sit in the same place, it's much easier to kind of to adjust.
Yeah, but I totally agree. But I feel like that I feel like that cannot apply to someone who's, again, it depends on it. I feel like that's a higher skill if you constantly like, yes, I shoot a couple of times to literally fly like a foot to the left, foot to the left, foot to the right, but it's not, plus you have to reload. So I feel like someone who's more of a, level 30, I don't think it's needed to begin with, but and also I have to say I don't peak with for example, I don't peak with what's the word, Seiko, like it's like weapons where you have to like aim with like towards your eye. I mean, I only peak with CX4 and the Magnum, because that's like, when a weapon you can peek like over your head. So that's like the only, I feel like if I peek with the Seiko, I have to like go higher, like a little bit higher up, you know what I mean? Versus here, like you're just unstoppable with CX4, especially because that the reason why I used that weapon for so long, because it was like in my mindset, it was not like you don't kill a person with that weapon, right? You just keep chipping at them. And someone who's good at it is like, you probably know, like it's so annoying. Like it just keeps like banging you like nails, like ba 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 ba, and like hits every shot. And you can never shoot them back unless you like sniping, because they're so like peaking low, and it's like so many bullets in there. So when you just keep chipping a person, by the time he gets to you, you're like, okay, I got a DT, or I know you're really big at P90, so you just finish it off like that, you know. And plus, it's everywhere, and there's no difference between 1-star and a gold CX4, so it's like a no-brainer, you know. I don't know why people don't use it.
Nice. What settings are you playing on? Is it 100-0?
It is 100-0, yes.
I'm not sure if
Motion
it's
100, yeah.
if you peak with one hand. I'm not sure if motion dampening kind of affects one hand shooting or not.
That's an excellent question. I've put those settings when I was level 1, and I've never touched them ever. So you're not gonna be able to know. I don't know why. Don't fix it if it ain't broken, right?
Yeah, totally. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your
Very
help.
bombastic. That is fantastic. That was fun, man. Thank you. Let's be friends now.
I think we're already friends.
I'm kidding.
I know.